Good evening, America. You are about to meet Sergeant Dave, host of the Remember the Fallen show. After having survived a rollover accident avoiding a landmine in a troop transport vehicle, military acronym LMTV, in the Parwan province of Afghanistan in 2004, he emerges and returns to the United States with an even more compelling tale of perseverance as he navigates the rapids of the troubled VA system. He gains a new perspective with a fever of enthusiasm to all patriots across the windswept fields of America.
Well, we're here at Landing Zone LZ, Winter Springs, Oviedo, Florida line 32708, Seminole County, America, USA. This is the Remember the Fallen show, where on occasion my guests will be ground pounders, Army, nasty God like myself, jarheads, Marines, wingnuts, Air Force, and penguins we call them because 90% of them have wings but don't fly, and squids, Navy, and coasties, Coast Guard. Maybe, not as a guest. But most of all, the show is about patriots like yourself that get a lump in their throat when they hear the national anthem being played, or weep unashamed when TAPS is being played as well.
Once again, this is Dave Matthews, host of the Remember the Fallen show, and I had a great privilege this past couple days ago. I was involved with Veterans Town Hall meeting Tuesday night at 6:30. It was open to the public at the Caribe Royal Orlando, and it was AMVETS 74th National Convention, and I tell you what, they have their finger on the pulse for the veterans' needs right now. I've been to another Veterans Town Hall meeting. This one was organized. Great questions were asked. Great responses. And I just want to share with you a little bit about the HAIL mission to ensure veterans with medical needs receive the help they have earned to access the best quality health care, including mental health and specialty services, especially traumatic brain injury, polytrauma, post-traumatic stress, and live long and healthier lives. These services are free. You served, and now it is your turn to be served. That's their slogan. So to accomplish the mission, AMVETS hired a team of clinical experts, and you could tell they're up on stage. They had experience in eliminating barriers to accessing health care for veterans nationwide. Its acronym is HAIL, which stands for Healthcare, Evaluation, Advocacy, and Legislation. It encompasses all necessary steps the team will take to intervene directly on behalf of veterans. That's what I like. Taking charge. And service members' families as well. So you don't have to be the actual veteran. You can be a service family member, and AMVETS will assist you and the caregivers to reduce the veteran suicide. That's what we're concerned. Our main concern is Kill 22, to reduce veteran suicide, help them with the unemployment, the homelessness, of course, and hopelessness as it relates to mental and physical wellness, particularly for those who are affiliated with AMVETS and utilize polytrauma, traumatic brain injury, TBI centers, and mental health services within the Veterans Health Administration and community health care facilities. It was a great town hall. I really enjoyed it. So while I was there, I said, hey, let me go in to put on my roving reporter hat. So I was Sergeant Dave, roving reporter for Remember the Fallen radio show, and I was able to interview Lauren Price, who is a warrior. And I'm going to go ahead and play a segment of her interview here in just a minute. But in the meantime, I'm going to send a little bit of her song that I think it's all about Lauren Price.
The 7th floor at the Caribe Royal Hotel and Resort in Orlando at the 74th AMVETS Convention. And figures, this is like the only veteran service organization I'm not a member of, right? And I'm with Lauren Price and Jim Price. They started Veterans Warriors Advocacy back in 2009, and I'm just proud to have her on the show. And she's going to be up talking about her hashtag burn pits and she's going to be speaking on behalf of the Veterans Town Hall meeting we're having at 6:30. So I'm going to get her on the line right now. And so Lauren, so tell me what's going on with what you're doing right now with your advocacy.
We just had Congressman Belarakis from Florida and Congressman Ruiz from California co-sponsored a bill for us, HR 6582. It will be granting burn pit exposures to those veterans who've gotten sick from being exposed to toxic chemical in the Middle East. And that is our primary project. Our secondary project is an ongoing investigation into the VA's caregiver program, which has been going on for 2 years now.
Yeah, so she's been doing since 2009, all right? I've been doing to 2015. I know I'm broke, okay? I know that she doesn't do any fundraisers, so always go check her website out, and we'll give you some more information at the end of how hard they're working. So, we had her on the show last week, and we talked about Lauren and what she did with Congress, and she was in Tampa. What caught my attention was the 226 burn pits that were active in Afghanistan and Iraq, which is absurd. That our commanders, our chief commanders, our generals, who didn't step up and think what those hydrocarbons would do to the human lungs or the vital organs, which a lot of them do have just unique, absurd type of illnesses that they have right now. So that's what caught my attention. So we're here at the convention, and there's a Veterans Town Hall meeting going off at about 6:30, and so Lauren's going to speak on behalf of basically all burn pit personnel. There's over 140,000 burn pits in the registry, and there's another close to 60,000 that haven't completed their form. So I'll just say about 250,000 of our veterans are having illnesses now. It's called the Iraqi crud. So if anybody's had that cough that's been over there and anywhere near Camp Victory, it was known to have the burn pit was the size of 3 football fields. Can you just imagine that our government, that our military officers would allow our personnel to walk around that area? You know, me being a 74 Delta, which is a gas mask specialist, and basically made sure that everyone in my unit, their gas masks work. We know that gas mask sat at the bottom of the duffel bag. There's always a section of the duffel bag that no one goes near, and that's it. That's where it sat. No one made the order. Get on your gas mask. You see the black plumes come at you. So that's what I'm upset with. A lot of us are upset with. We're upset with the Congress. We're upset with the VA, telling they need an epidemiological study on this. So, Lauren, tell me more of the medical side of it. I know you're more of a legal side. If you can touch up on some more of the medical side of where we're at with the burn pits.
To date, the VA proudly proclaims that they have only approved 2,000 claims for burn pit exposures. And one of the deputy undersecretaries sat in during a recent congressional hearing and actually said that there's over 10,000 claims in that actually are annotated as burn pit. And she laid the blame at veterans for not making sure that the VA knows that we've been exposed to burn pits. Except the VA has a policy that's been in place since 2010, which they specifically prescribe how they're going to take care of our claims. The problem is that when you go in and you're sick and you have some weird problems in your throat, or you're just exhausted and tired, or you can't breathe anymore and you can't make your run and you're falling out of your PT, nobody's connecting the dots. And that's the problem, because there's not one disease that's coming out of this. There are literally hundreds of diseases because there are thousands of chemicals and chemical groups that we're exposed to. So no two people are going to come out with the same disease. So this is why we have this burn pit exposure bill that's going through, because we're going to be looking at the chemicals and the diseases they cause so that we can get presumptives in place with the VA so that people can get the benefits and services they earned.
Well, just think of the chemical table. Remember when you were in school, of all the chemicals you can imagine that are in this burn pit. Everything from PC, computer, batteries, jet fuel, chairs, desk, any type of carbon, any type of plastic was in there. They threw everything they could in there. And I know why they did it. They didn't want to send somebody out on the dangerous roads where the IEDs were, where there was a lot of people getting M8s, a lot of truck drivers were getting blown up with IEDs carrying trash. I understand that. Well, if you know that, why don't you have them put the gas mask on? So someone needs to be accountable, especially at Camp Victory, because David McCracken, he was an athlete. He ran a half marathon, and then 11 months later, he's dead. So we're finding out some of these veterans in Florida. Lauren knows a few from Florida that within 11 months, 12 months, they were perfectly fine. All of a sudden, they dropped dead. So, Lauren, could you touch up on, you said you had someone from Springfield. Could you mention some of your local veteran Floridas that are no longer with us because of #BurnPits?
Well, very early on in 2008, 10 years ago, Major Kevin Wilkins came home, and he was home less than a year and expired from burn pit exposure. In 2010, Sergeant Billy McKenna from Spring Hill, Florida, came home in April. By December 28th, he was gone. And they are not the only ones. There are literally thousands, hundreds of thousands of us across the country that are sick and or dying from these diseases. And as I said previously, no two of us in the same room that served in the same location have the same diseases. My husband, we were friends before we went, but he served side by side with me in the same place, and my husband does not have this disease. I'm dying. I have a terminal lung disease that I contracted. So there's no logic except for the chemical compositions that are coming out of those burn pits. When you're talking butadiene, which is the chemical that comes from burning tires, that is a known carcinogen that we are not allowed to burn in this country. Yet, they're burning them every single day.
Since 1970, that was outlawed, any type of burning in any way. 1970. And here they are in 2006, 2008, and ongoing. They turning their back on the laws in the United States because they're soldiers. Soldiers, they raise their right hand, they'll do what they're told, and they deal with it later. And so it's called DOD regulation banned in 2009, but in the States it was 19... Overseas, it was banned.
They banned it in theater in 2009.
In 2009. So Lauren is up on that. In 2009, they banned it in theater, and yet they still kept them burning just massive, just 3 football fields. That's insane. I can just imagine how bad that is, those hydrocarbons just getting into people's lungs. And so, like I said, you might not have known any of those other soldiers that Lauren talked about, but what about Bo Biden? Okay, Bo Biden, the son of Joe Biden, it was really quiet. All of a sudden, there was tragedy in the family, and I just heard Bo Biden died of brain cancer at such a young age. And I was like, until I found out more, he was a Delaware National Guardsman, and he spent 11 months in Iraq, and he was at Camp Victory with David McCracken, same age, and once again, 11 months later, they're no longer with us. Now, you don't have to be a guy in a lab coat to figure that one out, okay? They're healthy, they come back, they're around that Iraqi crud, and those hydrocarbons, once it gets into your lungs, it's like smoking like 100 packs of cigarettes, your whole life. Just keep smoking, and it just burns those lungs. You kill off your lungs, and then you can't breathe, and you have bronchiolitis. But it starts off with a cough. So anybody with a cough, please get a hold of the Burn Pit Registry, and just Google that. And let's talk about your HR bill again. Let's make sure we get that across there. Okay, Lauren?
Again, that bill is for burn pit exposure presumptives. It is congressional number HR 6582. It has already been introduced, and starting the first weekday after Labor Day, get on the phone, get on the email with your congressman, tell him that if they don't co-sponsor that and jump on board, you're going to remember them come November, because we signed up to serve our country. We did not sign up to drop over dead because they didn't want to pay for incinerators.
So Remember that. Write that down. HR 6582. Start following your congressman. See where they're voting. Okay, there's a website out there. I'll put it on the show here very shortly. But we're going to get down to the convention. We're going to go down 7 stories down, and we're going to go, I'm going to be in the audience. Hopefully I'm going to ask a question, and I'll have that taped. I'll put it on Facebook, but I'm going to be one of the audience. Can't wait to hear Lauren and Jim speak and just talk about the importance of getting this awareness out there and not stopping. I mean, she's a warrior. Just pull up Hannah Kerr Warrior Song, and that's Lauren Price, all right? Taken care of. None of this, deny, stall, hope they die. Not on our watch. Okay, we'll see you in a minute. And we're going downstairs right now. And I just want to thank Lauren for being on the show. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you so much for having us, Dave. I appreciate it.
Okay, we're out.
All right, here's our quick commercial break. Let's take care of our sponsors. If you need to go to the bathroom, get a cold drink, here's the time.
Hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network. Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all set to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
This is Sergeant Dave with the Remember the Fallen show, and my next guest is Tom Donwin. He works for the Suicide Prevention Program for Team AMVETS. They're doing an outstanding job. And Tom, he's just one of those guys, he's passionate about it. You need guys like Tom on your team, especially when you're dealing with such a sensitive issue. And so Tom and his team have saved over 106 soldiers.
Live with Tom Donwin at the 74th Convention, AMVETS Convention here at the Veterans Town Hall. And I noticed Tom was wearing a Veterans Suicide Prevention Awareness shirt. So I came up to him and said, Tom, we'd love to hear your story. And what got you started in it? And he's the chairman of AMVETS, Department of California. But I was going to ask Tom on a national level. Tom, on a national level, what can we do to help these veterans in these type of situations?
I can speak for nationally now. We have 22 veterans dying every day by suicide. I've associated with the VA. We have a phone number that we use that, by the way, has been in service since 1958. And in 1973, the VA added our veterans press 1. So all of that time, when we first started this program, there are thousands of veterans that have no idea that there's any help available. And I could give you this number, which I will shortly, the correct phone number to call. You will get help. Now, I want to add that since inception of this program, we started it in California in 2010. 2011, we have growing pains. 2012 is when we started the program full blast. 2016, we started nationally. Since that time, we have 106 saves on this program. Now, we save one veteran. That's absolutely astounding. We have 106 saves, and we're not done. We're just getting started. We got to keep going on it. Now,
hoorah! That is awesome, Tom. We appreciate what you do with that. That is great. So yeah, let's share that Veterans Crisis line. Tom, go ahead. Get that number right out now to them.
That number is 1-800-273-8255, and veterans press 1. If you're a civilian, you just don't press 1. If you're a wife of a veteran, for example, you can call the same phone number and get help for your husband if he needs it.
And you know that, women out there, that the man is not going to do that. So anonymously you can get these tips. And some of these tips, the prevention of these tips is symptoms, is thinking about hurting or killing yourself. We know that's obvious, right? Looking for ways to kill yourself, another one that's obvious, right? Talking about death, dying or suicide, self-destructive behavior, such as drug abuse, alcohol, opium, okay? Also, we have hopelessness, feeling like there's no way out, rage or anger, especially when driving, actively
anxiety, agitation, mood swings, or sleeplessness. Feel like there's no reason to live. Engaging in risky activities without even thinking. Increasing alcohol or drug abuse. Withdrawing from family and friends. And here's one that's not on there. Giving away really precious stuff that you held on for so long, and all of a sudden you're giving away your personal items. That's another one there that I remember. So once again, Dawn, you're here at the AMVETS. You sound like you're a pioneer in this. You've been doing this for quite some time. So what makes this convention different than other ones?
This particular convention in Florida is the launching of the HEAL program, and this is another suicide prevention program that, in fact, it's the only one that AMVETS is funding, and they are in convention with the VA to save veterans' lives. It's another phone number to call. It's more help, and we will save one more veteran.
Outstanding, Tom, and that number is 833-VET-HAIL. Once again, 833-VET-HAIL. I'm wearing the bracelet right now. And you can also go to amvets.org for anyone out there, and especially the wives. Please, we need your assistance. You've been the support system for these soldiers your whole adult life. You are so important part of the equation. We need to hear from you as well. And there's help out there. There's definitely some help. But you got to let us know. You got to go to the HAIL program and reach out and get a hold of these great people that are just out there to volunteer their time to help inhale what you're going through right now. So, Tom, what made you come all the way from California to Orlando?
Just come for our annual meeting. I don't really care where it is. I'll go to the annual meeting. I need to spread the word. We have new veterans here every year. I need to spread the word there's help available. There are still thousands of veterans that have no idea if they have help available. All they have to do is call the phone number.
Outstanding. You said 106 lives.
Correct.
They netted 106 saved lives of veterans. Testimonial that because of the AMVETS, because of their program, Suicide Prevention Awareness, they've saved 106 veterans' lives. That's the highest number that I've heard of. That is outstanding. Well, we're going to get back into the National Convention meeting on the Town Hall meeting, and we want to catch the end of it, so we're going to have more interviews. Once again, Tom, thank you so very much. I'm going ahead and salute Tom. Don went, hoorah!
All right, the next interview is a real tough one. These are some brave women to come up and speak on behalf of their trauma they experienced in the military. They are warriors as well.
I have Brenda and Vanessa with me, and we're going to talk about women's sensitive issues that they're having, challenges of the past with being in the military, and they're going to share some of their stories and maybe help some of the women that are out in the audience today. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Brenda. And Brenda, tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name's Brenda, and I served in Fort Riley, Kansas back when they were 1980, and they were integrating women into all-male infantry units. I was the first woman stationed in the commo section of Fort Riley, Kansas at the headquarters 937th Engineer Group.
All right, so we have a 31 mic, right? Or a signal corps?
Bravo.
Oh, okay, Bravo, okay. Signal corps.
677.
Oh, 677. Awesome. And now we have Vanessa. Vanessa, tell me a little bit about yourself as well.
Yeah, my name is Vanessa. I was a 91 Bravo combat medic, medical specialist Served overseas in Germany.
Great. We have a nurse. It's getting worse. All right. That's great. Okay, so we're going to just talk a little bit about open the airwaves of women's veterans issues that they're challenging to. We know they don't use the word Romeo, Alpha, Papa, Echo anymore, right? They don't use that anymore. They use something called MST. Could you explain that to me, Brenda, in our audience, Brenda?
MST stands for Military Sexual Trauma. It's the phrase that encompasses a lot of the women's issues, like the harassments, the physical touchments, the pressing you or making you feel like you owe them something, or even down to the sexual rape section of it.
Oh my God! And you gotta. It's enough you're going through like you said earlier, a male's military, and you got to go through all of that. And so, touch up on a little bit of what you feel. How can you fix something that's such men have such control over the women in the military? How do you fix something like that?
You stand up and you say you have a right to be there, that you have a right to serve the country as much as anybody else. I was a single mother, and I felt that it was my duty to help protect my country and my family.
Great answer there. Yes, I believe so too. And Vanessa, being in the medical field too, another field where maybe the men had a little more respect because you would help them when they were bleeding. That's when they wanted you. When they needed something from you, they were obviously nice to you because they were hurting. So what was your experiences?
As far as what happened to me, is that what you're asking?
Anything that happened, any kind of experience.
Well, I've come to explain it as the biggest type of betrayal that could occur, because when you train, when you go through your training, the soldier to your left, the soldier to your right, the soldier in front of you, the soldier behind you, you're all battle buddies. You're all supposed to have each other's backs. And one of my fellow service members went to the barracks where I was at and drugged me and did things that in the civilian world would be rape.
Came out of that, were you able to press charges? Was there anything?
No.
Nothing like that?
No, because of the cultural climate, had I come forward to even report it, would have been further ostracized than what I was as being a female soldier. When I did talk with someone the next day, I was told, you can't say anything. My fellow soldier who lived in the same barracks, the same dorm that I did, she had been gang raped prior to when I was raped by several service members, in our unit. She reported it. She needed medical care, and because of that, and because of her ostracization and the way she was treated after that for reporting it, she attempted suicide.
She committed suicide?
She attempted. It was not a successful attempt. I happened to be on duty the night that she had attempted suicide, so I wasn't in the barracks. I wasn't there to have her back, to be someone there for her to talk with when she needed that support. I didn't find out until the next morning when I had finished my 12-hour night rotation at the hospital, and they said, we need a nurse to go up to the ICU and sit with someone, because they were short-staffed, so they needed some help. And I said, okay, I'll go help, even though I had just finished a 12-hour night shift myself. I didn't know. No one warned me who it was. I didn't know until I walked into the room, and there was my friend, my sister soldier, hooked up to the machines and everything to keep her going. And all I could do was sit with her during the time till they had someone else to relieve me of that duty. And when she would stop breathing, tell her to breathe. I didn't know what had happened to her for a number of years after that. Fortunately, I ran into her when we both were back stateside, and saw her at the pharmacy at the post hospital where I was at then, and she told me, she said that you saved my life. It was you telling me breathe, because she didn't have that will to live anymore. She didn't want to go on anymore because the pain was so severe. That level of betrayal that she experienced from her brothers in arms, and then the way that she was treated after when she reported, she lost all will to go on.
Thank goodness you were there, Vanessa. God bless you for that. You know, more people like yourself need to be with these soldiers when their time of need is. And yeah, you can't. That cult is like a culture within the military. There's no doubt about it. And I've seen a little bit of change. I've been reading, the magazines and stuff, but it's still the commanders are looking the other way, and it's so wrong that court martials aren't going on. Just get them out of the army and put them in jail. That's just it. Just put them in jail if anything comes up like that. So if you have another thing you want to mention, that's fine. Okay, Vanessa, go ahead.
I'm helping to advocate for the Military Justice Improvement Act. With that, then when military sexual trauma is reported, if this act goes through as I understand the way that it's written now, then instead of it being the commander who gets to make the decision, it will go to the proper authorities to do the investigation, to make the determination on how things move forward. Because one of the issues with when whether it's a male or female veteran reports a military sexual trauma is that it can get sidestepped in the process if the investigation isn't handled in a particular way, then the information can be lost in order to prosecute for sexual trauma, for sexual harassment, for rape, things, anything that falls under the MST umbrella. The information as far as the investigation is critical when you go in to try to prosecute. If that information is lost, then the victim of that trauma is re-victimized through the process and then has no chance of any vindication or justification for what happened to them.
Yeah, I can see they need to open it up to civilians. Civilians need to step in at the bases, allow them in to do their proper investigation right away.
Well, with the military, with the Military Justice Improvement Act, I believe I've got that right. Right. All right. It would go through the post. Would it be the post IG that would do the investigation?
Okay.
Or
the post inspector general would be now involved. Not, let's just say, the platoon sergeant of the soldier, because of course the platoon sergeant's going to look over it, or the commander. They want to keep their personnel. He might be in the good old boys club, right? Right. So we got to get away from the good old boys club and open it up to the local authorities, police authorities that are in that jurisdiction. And then you wouldn't have this, and because they have too much bias going on. So I can see the challenges you women are going through in the military. Now, when I went through the military, it was the first time they allowed soldiers to be, women soldiers were being blended in. This is 1982, which I was shocked.
That was 1980.
1982 was my year, and the women were actually on the second floor, and we were on the third floor, right? So there was flirtation going on. There was a lot of stuff going on.
It still doesn't justify rape.
And I was shocked to see that some soldiers would, actually be distracted with that, because that was their main thing. They were totally distracted with the women being that close to the men in the barracks. That shouldn't be. I think it should be separated, have their own barracks, not that close to the men. So I saw that when I went to Fort McClellan, Alabama in 1982 as well.
So you're saying by separate stops it?
No, it doesn't stop it. You're right. It doesn't stop it, but it's so close proximity.
What?
So
they
could sneak up.
Control themselves?
Well, they could sneak up into their bunks.
that was just way too close. Or meeting the fire and the fire stairwell. That was happening. That was happening late at
They're
night.
a predator. It doesn't matter if you put them in a different barracks or if you put them in the same barracks. If they're going to be a predator, they're going to be a predator. It doesn't matter where you separate them at. They catch you in the motor pool. They catch you in the commo section. It doesn't matter. If they're going to if they're going to attack you, they're going to attack you. It doesn't matter if you separate them or not.
Yeah.
Right. And then one of the conversations that we've had is that when, it's an environment like with the military, that's more closed net. And then these individuals who are being predators, they're honing their skills. If it gets reported and it gets brushed aside and they're forgiven or they're not prosecuted for it, then when they get out, they have honed their skills all the years that they were in getting away with it.
Oh, so now you're saying that they're professional, sexual assaulters out in the streets, basically.
Didn't say professional.
Okay. They're skilled in such a way.
They have.
Yeah.
Right. They have honed a skill.
Yeah, they honed a skill.
Being able to perpetrate.
Yeah.
A sexual.
Well, they figured they didn't get caught. They didn't get in trouble. So, hey, I can do it again, and nobody's going to say anything.
Yes. Yeah, I can understand that. Yes. So with the women's with job and rank and promotion, how does that affect the women? You didn't get.
I didn't get mine. I was gang raped by 5 men. Okay, I took it to the MPs. Before anything was said or done about it, within a week, several of them had been transferred to Germany. One of them said that because he was drunk and high, he didn't know what he had done. So he got drug and alcohol treatment.
That was always punishment.
I ended up pregnant. Didn't know who the man was that was responsible because it could have been any of them. So they came up with the choice that I could go to Germany for 2 years, have my baby over there with no family support, or I could stay stateside, have my baby, leave my baby with my family, and then go over by myself while my son was raised the first 2 years, or take a discharge.
What a decision to make. Oh my God, it must have been a tough one to make.
It was.
Do you mind sharing us what your decision was?
I went home.
You went home, and you're a mother of this child.
Yes.
And hey, God bless you. I mean, some things, something like that in life happens, but you brought a child into the world, and you were able to. Your family was able to take care of him.
But the society, or the civilian life, turned on me, because even when I went home and I had gotten married, I even had family say, "Oh well, is that from your husband or is that from somebody else?"
Yeah, family can be really brutal, huh?
This is civilian people.
Civilian people as well. So that's one thing I've seen is promotions not there for the women. They're tucked aside, not being seen. But then you see on the veteran service organizations how many women that are in charge, or they're running the American Legion or the DAV. So I'm seeing a lot of that in the veteran service organizations, where I see women commanders are stepping up.
That's why I joined the AMVETS program. I joined the AMVETS program because of what happened to me. My promotion papers were there. My discharge papers came down the same time, and they said, well, your discharge is here first. I wanted to be a career soldier. Mm-hmm. I got put out as a PFC because my rank was not accepted because my discharge papers were on top. So I only got to serve a year and a half, put out because I was pregnant, because I didn't want to leave a child behind, and I didn't want to be over in a foreign country where I couldn't speak the language and just have a brand new infant. So I joined the organization. I founded a post up in Farmington, New Mexico, so that I could stand up and help other women so they don't have to go through what I've gone through, to help them get the programs, because today we still don't have MST counselors at the clinics. They want to do the Vietnam or the combat and stuff, but nobody still wants to touch military sexual trauma. You get, from some of the good old boys, you knew what you were getting into when you joined the service. What did you expect?
Oh, what a terrible excuse for being a predator to commit such a heinous crime. Just unbelievable. So MST needs to be addressed in all aspects of veteran service organizations, of course through the military and stuff like that. So we definitely want to keep that going, the MST and the VA system. So earlier you were talking about choice and the VA. Can you share a little light on that?
The VA system, the program choice?
Yeah.
I really don't like the program choice because I'm over 3 hours away from the VA hospital in Albuquerque. That's the only medical hospital in New Mexico available. And so they send us to outpatient clinics and stuff like that. The problem I have is that because I fought back, I have had 2 total knee replacements. I had injured a disc in my neck. I was going paralyzed on my left side. They sent on my left arm. They sent me to the civilian hospital under the Veterans Choice Program, and I'm receiving the bills. And because they were supposed to be paid for by the Veterans Choice Program, they are now on my credit score, which hinders loans or trying to get the Veterans Housing Program. If you have a delinquent program on your credit, you're not eligible for it. So these bills have gone to collectors. So now I have debt collectors coming after me. I have the hospitals coming after me. And some of the doctors start looking at, the VA system's not paying, so they don't want to see you.
Wow, we're going to have to, we'll get that number back up on the line. It's the VA helpline for any type of complaint. You definitely have a big complaint there. We're going to have to put that across there. And Vanessa, you want to inject anything right now?
Well, there have been identified 6 major challenges that women veterans face. Number 1 would be the health care. Number 2 would be military sexual trauma, which we've spoke about. Then mental health, disabled veterans, being disabled women veterans, unemployment, and homelessness. And the programs in general, and they're working on them, I can see where there's been improvement to be more inclusive with women veterans, but the programs have been originally designed for males.
Yes.
And so more advocacy and change needs to be made to have the programs more for women veterans. Because we swore the same oath.
Right.
We've served our country the same as our brothers in arms. The same.
You've raised the right hand.
We made that same oath.
You have the integrity, discipline, self-service. You've done it all for our country. So we have to get back on track on what these women have put themselves through. And Brenda just said she'd do it again. Yep.
I would too.
They would do it again. They love their country enough to stand up and to fight the battles they're going through. I mean, these women are warriors. There's a battle cry here that needs to be heard. So I want you to pull up Hannah Kerr's Warrior Song. I want you to think of these women next time you hear it. I want you to pull up Hannah Kerr's Warrior Song. I want you to think of these women next time you hear it. It's called The Warrior. And I just want to say thank you very much for coming out. And I know it's tough conversation to have. Especially when, and especially Brenda's. Go ahead, Brenda, now.
I said my whole family had been military all the way back from working with George Washington and stuff. So why shouldn't I have the same honor of working and serving my country the same as the rest of my family just because I'm a woman?
The same.
Right. Yeah.
I come from a family.
Yeah, they all come from a family of soldiers, proud of their country, want to serve and go back to serve, even going through such tragic situations. They're still willing to go back. Well, I salute you women, and keep on doing what you're doing with the AMVETS, the Women's Auxiliary, and keep us posted. And we'd love to have you back on the show again. All right?
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Good night now. Out. Now, these women are... Well, there you have it. You have two great assets of the HAIL mission. And you experienced it. And I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work well. Like I said, the Veterans Town Hall was a success in my mind and many others that were in the audience. And so the 4 pillars of the HAIL approach are the healthcare. H, the first one is a team of clinicians, white coats, that are licensed registered nurses who are responsible for ensuring the quality of complex care for veterans through active health care system monitoring and working in collaboration with the Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, and community providers who serve veterans. Their work entails identifying necessary resources to improve the efficiency of healthcare services, to include quality of care and coordination, which is critical to delivering effective, lifelong, comprehensive health care to the veteran population, especially the homelessness. Now we look at E, for evaluation, by continuously measuring the quality and effectiveness of healthcare services provided by the VHA, to include services at VA poly, trauma, TBI centers, and mental health clinics. The HAIL team seeks opportunities to promote the enhancement of those services through a solution-oriented approach to identifying the needs that are specific to issues and concerns related to health care of AMVETS members. This assessment and recommendations for improvement will be shared with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, who was there today, by the way. The new Secretary of VA was at the National Convention. Hoorah for getting him there involved. I'm busy doing a show. I'm missing it. Okay, A is for advocacy, directly engaging and working in collaboration with the VA healthcare professionals at all levels. It's a critical component of the HAIL mission, particularly as it relates to mental health, polytrauma, TBI, and related issues, to accommodate the needs of current and future AMVET members. The HAIL program was established a helpline to troubleshoot and report issues and provide timely assistance in order to navigate for veterans and family members to find the appropriate health care solutions. L, for legislation. Championing laws and policies that benefits AMVET members is a significant component of the HAIL mission. We will be staunch advocates in legislative and policy efforts that focus on the provision of comprehensive, complex health care and benefits for AMVET members. These efforts will be carried out through direct engagement and collaboration with the congressional members and their designees, with the intent to enhance quality and access to health care for veterans who desire to be heard on Capitol Hill. Now, the contact helpline, which is important to get out there, right? The veteran service members and family members who need immediate assistance with the VA-related health care issues can contact the helpline by phone, toll-free, once again, 1-833-VET-HAIL, and that is 1-833-838-4325, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, or anytime by email at vethale@amvets.org. I am so privileged to do this show on behalf of the 74th National AMVETS Convention here in Orlando, and I can't wait for the next year. And I'm signing off as I'm getting ready to get into Zero Dark 30 for the show, and I'm just about ready to go into rack ops mode. But before I relax, never one last promo. So go to Sergeant Dave Matthews at gmail.com for suggestions for the show's content. Or if you know a good piece of gear, a veteran's advocate, I will get him on the show. Copy email again at sergeantdavematthews@gmail.com, or you can go to my Facebook page and like it, like the page at Remember the Fallen, all one word. Copy again, Remember the Fallen, all one word on Facebook. You can also hit me on my Twitter handle at Heroic Memorials. Once again, at Heroic Memorials. Or if you're not into the Twitter bird chirping thing, you can go to my website at www.neverforgottenmemorials.org. Once again, neverforgottenmemorials.org, and you can mark your calendar every Thursday night on your phone at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at KLRNRadio.com. Select shows and tap whatever show is running, and that should be my show every Thursday night. So that's in order until all the troops come home. All right, Fallout, Pop Smoke, out.